Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos, and today I'm at Lake James State Park, where it's pretty wet. It's beautiful out here, but it is wet. I'm grateful that this really nice picnic shelter is available to me here at the Catawba River access today. It's breezy, it's cold, and I sound like I have a cold. I do not anymore. I had it over a week ago, but it's just taking forever for the congestion to leave. And for that very reason, I'm not going to talk a whole lot during this video. And that's just so I don't start coughing. So the goal here today, I brought my MC750, my Elegance MC750, and I thought about just setting it up on its own tripod here in the middle of the picnic shelter, which I'm sure that would work fine. I did this once before at Lake Norman, worked out really well. But I don't even really have enough time for that. I really just need to set up really quickly and get going because I have a really hard deadline to meet. I have to drive back to Asheville. I've got a physical therapy session going on. I'm working on some core strength and things like that, and I can't miss that appointment. And so I only have like a maximum of probably like 55 minutes total time. And in that time, I really want to make a cup of tea. I didn't bring my coffee stuff, but I did bring a really special tea with me today. And I think I'm going to make some of that. So I'll get going here, set up everything. We're going to put up the Elecraft AX3 antenna just to save a little bit of time here. And I hope the audio works out okay. Again, my apologies to our visually impaired subscribers because I'm not going to talk a whole lot during this video. That is a group of people who like to hear me talk because I kind of describe how everything is here. But you can hear the rain. You'll be able to hear the clicking of my key. I brought my Vibroplex key with me today because it is still October bug out month for me. And I'm looking forward to bringing this out. I think this is a pretty level table, so I'm very excited to take that. My bug fist is still not all that great, so you're going to hear a lot of interesting stuff come out of it, but hey, that's what it's all about. Let's get started. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Let's see how many contacts we got here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20. That is just wonderful. Let me take a photo of my logs so I don't forget. The tea is spectacular. This is a tea we bought when we were in Quebec this summer. and my wife and daughters had it. Actually, my wife had it at a cafe we went to after I did an activation, an Atno activation there near Tadoussac in Quebec. And we bought that box of tea. It came home. It got kind of put away with our tea and kind of forgotten about it until I discovered it a few days ago. And I thought, I really want to take this out to the field and have it, I'm doing a little bit of POTA, and it's just wonderful. This was made up in like the tundra regions of Quebec. And like a First Nations group, I think, runs this company that makes the tea, and it's really wonderful stuff. So I'll probably never be able to get any more of this after we go through the box. But it is delicious. It's so good. Let's see what the time is. I have got... I managed not to cough too much during this. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well with time, so I can take my time packing things up. I'm not going to hop on the air again. I can just kind of take my time drinking my coffee. Now, I will say it was wonderful taking the mechanical key out to the field again, and this worked out really well. This surface is really level. I feel like my fist has gotten better since the beginning of the month when I first was learning. I do think that going out to the field and doing bug out month has really made a huge impact on it. I definitely think that the bug emulator has worked because I've only used this bug once in the field at the very beginning of bug out month. And then when I traveled most of the middle of the month of October, and so only took the bug emulator with me. And this is the first time I've taken the bug out to the field since then. And I feel like it feels easier now. So that bug emulator really does a fantastic job of emulating a bug. It sounds simple, but it's not, because it acts like a bug would, meaning it'll allow you to make mistakes that you would make on a bug. It does not deliver perfect code. It doesn't try to smooth out your code or anything. So I've been very pleased with the bug emulator. And if you want to see what it looks like, it's the one I've been using. This is the guy right here. And I've got a link to this. If you're interested, I've got a link to this in the description below, probably in the YouTube video, but also on QRP.com. And I love this thing. This really has been fantastic. Bug out month would have been much, much more difficult for me had I not been using the bug emulator. Now let me take a couple of photos before I forget. Gotta have some photos for I have some photos for my blog post on QRP.com. That's an important part of this. Really important part of this. I'm really liking the AX3 as well, and it worked beautifully for this activation. It really did. I'll even have links to like my kit that I use for making coffee and tea in the field. If you're interested, I'll have that there as well. Okay, let's turn this off and put this up. And I've got to say that I need to thank, well, a couple of people. Bob W06R, or is it W? He sent me one of these Vibroplex jack adapters, and someone from the Long Island CW Club did as well, which is really kind, because I've actually got another key I can put that on. And this just makes it a little easier to use these terminals and to use as like a kind of a pass-through as well, which is really cool. I swear I feel perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just this thing hung around in my chest forever. It's getting much, much better. Just the past couple of days it's gotten a lot better, but I was afraid. We recorded a Hammer Your Workbench podcast recently, and I had to hit the mute button just constantly to keep from coughing into my microphone. What I loved about the AX3, I don't even have to get out of my seat to disassemble it or take it down or anything. It's just all right here. Here we go. Go ahead and take this off. Tighten that back up a little bit. It's funny tasting this tea. So I had coffee the day that I went into that cafe in Tadoussac that was selling this tea. And I couldn't find it anywhere else in Quebec. I would have bought more. But I just tasted it. I tasted some of my wife's tea, some of this. And when I first tasted this tea here today, it immediately took me back to that cafe. Isn't that funny how flavors and smells and things, at least for me, they have a very, very strong association with place, of all things. I think this is the fourth activation or fifth activation I've done with this one 3.5 amp hour battery. I'll go ahead and charge it when I go back home. I have another battery in the pack if I needed it, by the way, so if this would have died on me for some reason, it would have been fine. But the K2 is a really, really miserly radio when it comes to how many milliamps it consumes from a battery. It was designed from the ground up to be QRP. And this is a QRP version. This is a 10 watt version of the radio. It doesn't have the 100 watt power amplifier or anything like that. Let's put up some of this stuff now. Now the trick is, I can't put this up wet. And I forgot to bring my towel with me, which I normally have with me, but I don't have it in here for some reason this time. So what I'll probably do is just take apart this and remember to there we go. Take this, close it up. I have to actually loosen that a tiny bit to put that on. I'll just take it home and dry it when I get there. I just don't want to leave anything wet in here, especially mainly because this, I'm afraid that this part right here would rust more than anything else. I love how it all neatly fits in there. Oh yeah, that was fantastic. That really, I can't explain how much that hit the spot for me today. That is such a delicious tea. If you live in Quebec, I'll pay you good money to bring that here into the US for me. Oh, I'm doing this backwards here. I have a system for a reason. And I forgot to put the top on. I forgot something. Forgot to put the top on here. I like to keep those caps on. Probably no really good reason for that, but I just do. I'll take this home and just put it in. I'll probably throw it in the dishwasher anyway. It's been a while since I've thrown this in the dishwasher, I think. Clean up all of my gear here. I can't tell you how important a part of my radio kit this is, and I know I don't use it in videos all the time, but I take this with me everywhere. So if I'm out somewhere, if I'm hiking or doing something, I can make a cup of tea, I can make some soup, make coffee. I can do all that very easily with this kit I have. I also have some Starbucks instant coffee, which I'm not crazy about instant coffee. It's one of the better ones, though. I've had other people suggest other instant coffees that are okay, but I prefer the real stuff, right? Instant coffee is just in a pinch, really. It's all that's for. I don't mind the inconvenience of bringing, ground coffee with me. I really don't. Okay, let's start to pack up the bag now. It's my Red Ox Gator bag I've been using while I've been traveling with K2. And as my buddy David said, you put your K2 in here naked? I do. I don't put it in anything else. I think it's rugged enough that and protected enough in this bag. I'm just not concerned about any issues with it in there. Now, I do squeeze 2 more things in this bag that I wouldn't normally have to carry in this particular bag, and that is my big throw line. Oh, wait, before I do that, more important thing I gotta put up is my notepad, my logging pad, because that'll be hard to get to if I throw all this stuff on top. Actually finished in really good time, which is nice. I won't have to rush to go to my next appointment, which I love that idea. It's a bit of a jumble in here right now. But everything has its place. Only reason I even brought this is because I had my coffee stuff in it and I didn't want to bother taking it out separately. So there you go. It's actually, it's cold. It's a damp cold too today, but it's really soothing being out here. The rain, I'm gonna throw this away, of course. With the rain, and it's so quiet. Otherwise, now I hope the volume wasn't too loud on the radio, but I had it up so that you could hear over all the rain, because the rain was so strong. The sound of the rain so strong. Let's put this up real quick. Whew, it is chilly. There we go. Wow, this was a lot of fun. Now, this is, I've said this so many times before. I recently, just like 2 days ago, at time of making this video, I made a post on QRP about the fact that every field activator really should have a low profile, low impact field radio option, right? And by that I mean an antenna, radio, everything that doesn't intrude, doesn't take up space, that can be done like on a tabletop or clamped to a post or something, just something really simple that doesn't get in the way, that has no impact on the grounds or anything where you are. And the benefit of using a low impact system is that you can go places and activate them where other people can't, right? Like you can go portable. Of course, if you're mobile and you're operating from your car in a parking lot, you can go anywhere you want to as well. But if, like me, you're really into portable operating, and that's part of the fun, that is for me, it's part of the fun, is doing portable stuff. Having a low impact radio kit means that you can come to a place like this when it's pouring rain outside and you don't want to set up, and you'd otherwise probably skip an activation, or you'd try to do it in your car with something. You can go to a picnic shelter and set up everything here inside the picnic shelter. Now, if I wanted to, I actually had a little more time than I thought I would at the end of this. I could have set up my MC750 right here, I was just looking, and the apex of this roof is high enough that I could do my 20-meter quarter wave antenna, but I didn't need to. The AX3 antenna worked just fine on 20 meters, so I got my activation done. All's good, so didn't really need to do that. But having that option of just keeping everything on your table, keeping it all kind of contained, it has more benefits than just not disturbing everybody else around you and not disturbing the park. Sometimes it gives you the option to go do things like this, where you don't even have to get wet in order to play radio, which is kind of fun. Anyway, I better stop yakking here, and before I start hacking, I need to stop yakking and throw everything in the car and start heading up the mountain again. And hey, thank you so much for coming along today. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you. Thank you for being on this planet. You're a good person, and I'm glad you're here. And thank you to everyone who's kind to other people and knows and can imagine what it's like walking in someone else's shoes. And to that end, as an amateur radio operator, always try to keep that in mind when you meet somebody who's new in the hobby, or even someone who's not new in the hobby. If they need a helping hand, and you're kind of reading between the lines when you talk to them that they could use a little assistance, kind of maybe getting up to speed with something new that they want to try, putting up an antenna, learning Morse code, learning digital modes, learning single sideband, whatever. Walk with them on that journey, and I promise you, in the meantime, you'll make a good friend and you'll have a huge impact on their lives. So consider doing that. Again, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week or weekend ahead. And until next time, 7 twos.